did get a lot of response and beautiful comments on my editing of IC 1848, which is the Sol Nebula, and I use 60 seconds with the Dwarf 3. Of course, I am going to use 60 seconds, gain 90. If you want to enhance these images, increase the resolution in an effective way, and also get those vibrant colors that everybody loves. But it's very important that you do a good selection if you want to have a good result on the editing. If you want an image like this, start with a good image frame selection. Well, there's going to be a lot of images that are going to say failed on that imaging session, and I start by deleting those. And blink, it's where you examine all of the images for stars that are elongated or frames that are really bad, and you find blink under process, all processes, and blink. Kind of like look for an area where I can see, you know, most of the stars or the big stars. In this case, it's going to be this area here of the Sol Nebula. And then you just go one by one. And as you get experience, you're going to start seeing this faster. And those are okay, but we're starting to get into more elongated images. And this image right here, you see how ugly it is? This is one of those that I will delete. And then I continue examining my images. And I do this for every imaging session that I am going to edit that I'm not using the stack image. Okay, another tip here that it's going to help you a lot. Any process that you do in pixinsight, dynamic processes, or in the blink where you upload all these images, when you are done with it, be sure to select all of them and delete them, because if you leave this window open, it's going to slow down the software. So I have this many times. So close the window, delete those images. You don't need them anymore. The next step, now we're going to start into the calibration process. And there's a couple of important steps here. And this one, it's going to give you a faster calibration process, but there are a few things here that we need to, settings that we need to put. And this is another part of the secret sauce that it's very important. Okay, so here I have all of the frames already. And for that, you are going to click here on lights, this button right here, and you're going to pick all of those images, frames that you selected. We don't have flats, we don't have darks, we don't have bias. So that is okay. We're only going to deal with the light. Because smart telescopes, the images tend to be at a lower, way lower resolution. We need to try to improve that a little bit. And for that, we are going into post calibration. So we're going to click here and we are going to see here the RGB color space. That's correct. So we are going to enable drizzle here. And we are going to have an exposure tolerance of 2. Enable drizzle configuration. This is going to improve a little bit the resolution of the image. So we're going to get a better image at the end. Enable that. Scale 2. The drop shrink, we are going to put, these are all good starting points, 0.80. And that's pretty much everything what we are going to do here. We don't need to do anything else. With these numbers, it's going to work fine. To pick the output directory, and you're going to get this message, and it's going to give you a warning that check bias, dark, flat, light groups, no bias, no dark, no flat. That is correct. So we need to leave it the way it is. It's going to give you some errors because we don't have the calibration frame. And the next step will be to start the calibration process. And this can take 30 minutes, it can take 5 minutes, it can take 15 minutes. It all depends on your computer. It all depends how many frames you have. So now we need to pick our frame, the image that we're going to work with. Here you're going to have several folders, and the Bayer, it's where you're going to have all of the frames, all of these images that has been the Bayer, and they are good to process too. But what I want to use is the image that was already integrated here. Now we can do all these processes individually, but I think in the end we're going to go into the same results. This is the image probably that I want to use, which is the one that is going to see a RGB drizzle 2 by auto cropped, or if I don't like the auto crop, I am going to use then this other image, which is the drizzle image 2 by, but has not been auto cropped. So right now, all we have is an ugly green image that looks terrible. It can be other colors too. It may be purple, it may be yellow. I have all kind of colors. And we are going to use the reference channel selection, leave it the way it is on default setting, lowest mean. That is fine. Let's click the check mark here, and we should get our image without all that green stuff. And there you go. Here we have our first image. So pretty much what is happening here is that all the colors, red, green, and blue, has been balanced at the same value. All processes, and then I am going here into gradient correction. We need to leave the default settings, but we are going to enable automatic convergence. We are going to generate the gradient model so we can see how much it extracted. And here on the scale, 4.6 is a good starting point, and we're going to apply, and let's see what happens. We are going to get an image that is going to show all the gradients that has been removed from this image, and look at that. That looks very ugly. So I want to reset this image and goes in black, and then I am going to stretch it again and have a preview here. So now we can see the difference. That's we're starting to see a better image. So now we have completed 2 important processes. And this is one of the weakest features of smart telescopes, is that the stars are not going to be rounded as they should be. And there are 2 ways we can do this. The one that I really like, I am using the Blur Xterminator. Now the Blur Xterminator, it's an additional script that you have to buy from RC Astro. And for this one, I am going to change it to adjust start halos to -31 or so, and the sharpen stars to 70. And the rest is going to be default settings. I'm not going to click on any of these options. And this is a good starting point. It all depends on the target. Kind of like have to play a little bit here with the stellar adjustment. Here we have the result, and this is actually pretty good. So I am very happy with this one. It's not overly done. And let's just go ahead and look here real quick, a before and after. Okay, so this is with Blur Xterminator. Time to work on the background noise. You can also use Grexpert. if you want to get an image like the one that I edited, it's very important to separate the stars from the nebula. You can work all the entire image all together, but you're not going to be able to enhance all of those colors without affecting the stars. I am going to use another RC Astro script, and the name is Star Xterminator. Be sure that you click on Generate Star Image, because we want to have those separate images to stretch them individually and then combine them. So that's all I am going to do. And now I have the stars and I have the starless image. We are going to start working on stretching these images. And this is the big secret sauce here too. Individually, that way I can go more into the nebulosity and start enhancing all of these areas here that we know that the data is there. We just have to do a very good stretch first in order to enhance the colors. Okay, so now I am going to stretch this image, the stars, and there are several ways we can do this. We can use the SETI Astro Star Stretch. That's one option. Lower here the stretch amount maybe to 2.72, and let's see what happened. And that looks pretty good to me. It's better to have the stars a little bit underexposed, if nothing else, than overexposed. And for the starless, we're going to do the same and just go here and reset this image, have it completely black. This one has a preview here. Change here the target median like a 15. This is when we start seeing all the imperfections on the image. But I am going here into linear. And what I want to do is to work on this background here. And let me just do a preview here so we can see a little bit closer. And I am going to clip this image a little bit. I'm going to put a number 1 at the end of that long number because we don't want to clip, we don't want to cut some of the nebulosity. Okay, and this is now giving me a better view of what I really want to see here, especially on the background and the nebulosity. And finally, I am getting into the fun part. In that fun part, it's to finally start working on these colors. And maybe for you, this is perfectly fine right here. And that's way more than what you were expecting. And then the next step will be to combine the images and bring the stars back, and then you're done. But this is not enough for me. So I would like to work on those red colors that I have. And the first thing that I like to do is to enhance what I already have here. And I am going to click here on the red because this image is all about red colors. All I am going to do is click here on S, which is for saturation. And I am just going to increase right there the saturation. And I am going to do kind of like an S here. And that normally gives the initial boost that I like to see on these colors. And look at the big difference already, how this image is changing. I'm not going to do noise reduction yet. I'm going to continue with the colors, and then I will apply another round of noise reduction. you can also work a little bit here on the luminance, on the luminosity of this image, which is kind of like in this area. And we can go here to L and kind of like boost that a little bit too, and do that S again. And that kind of like works almost all the time for all of my images. And now look at that. Now we're starting to see all of these details here. Okay, so it's looking good. I still want to do more red colors. Improve brilliance. This is another one that I normally use. And especially if you want to add a little bit of contrast to this image, and you have to refresh here. Oh, that looks good. So here you start working. You can work on the luminance, up and down, the colors, the brilliance. Let's just do that and see what happens. Increase the brilliance there. That's 0.633. Okay, so I am getting into the final ingredients of the secret sauce here. And I still want to get more into these red colors. And for that, I'm going into Script, Toolbox, and down here, Selected Color Correction. And here I am going to work just on specific colors here on the RGB. Okay, so how about if I start working here on the reds? It's just that is the original, and that is what I just did. And we still need to combine this image with the stars, so that's going to change things too. And now it's like, ooh, it's too harsh, right? So now it's time to work again on the noise, as we added a lot of processes here. Let me bring back my noise exterminator. And you can use the other SETI Astro denoise. So now it's kind of like better. Now I want to try this image with the stars. And for that, I'm going to Script, Toolbox, and Combine Images. And here we have stars. And the image number 2, it's going to be the Starless 4. And now we're going to see them together for the first time, and I can make adjustments. Okay, very good. And now we are getting into those red colors, but that was too much. So let me just bring it down a little bit. 0.582. Okay. And that is kind of like where it's going to be. And it never ends. And I guess all it needs, it got too harsh here. So that's the part that I don't like right now, because I did other edits and I can never get them exactly the same way. So the next thing is, let me just apply a hard, aggressive noise exterminate. And this is the way I am going to leave this one. And go for it. Edit, and spend a little bit more time with your images. As you can see, there are very important steps right at the beginning, starting with the stacking. It's crucial. Also, you need to select the frames. Just don't use all of them if they're not good. Remember, it's about quality and not quantity. It's better to use less images. And I'll see you in the next few days with an upcoming video of the Dwarf 3 telescope, 60 seconds all the way. Of course, yes. Thank you for watching.